2-year-old Olivia Soto was found unresponsive inside her family home in Van Buren, Arkansas. At first, the explanation sounded like a terrible accident. Olivia had supposedly fallen. But as investigators examined the scene and doctors examined the child's injuries, that explanation began to collapse. Because the injuries did not tell the story of a simple fall. They pointed to something much more complicated. And on the day Olivia died, there were only a few people inside the home. One of them was her mother, Eva Millard. Another was Jordan Shreeve, Olivia's stepfather. Both would eventually give investigators their own versions of what happened. But before the case reached a courtroom, before the autopsy findings were fully understood, detectives sat down with the people who were there. And one of those interviews would become a long, emotional interrogation centered around a question that Eva Millard continued to resist. If it wasn't an accident, then who hurt Olivia?
There was three people in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I can only tell you where I was and what I done. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, that don't mean you're telling me the truth. You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I understand, sir, but I'm not lying to you.
According to this right here, 100% you are.
And I could have a nervous disorder, you know.
That has nothing to do with these.
You know,
absolutely nothing to do with
I'm sorry, but I'm telling you the truth. You guys are going to convict me of something I didn't do.
Jordan, that baby did not die on
I
her own.
understand that, but I didn't do it.
There's bruising on her head, her back of her head. There's something.
I don't know. All I told you, I seen right here is bruises on her face this morning.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know. She was up with the baby the last time. That's all I know.
Do you think your dad would have come in there?
I don't think my dad would do something like that. I don't.
You don't think so?
No. I don't.
Maybe we need to bring him in here and find out. I guess we're going to have to. Because both of y'all are saying you didn't do it.
Bring him in. Do it. I'm just telling you I didn't do it, and I'm not lying to you.
Let me say something, okay? Whether you freaked out or not, okay, when you found out that girl was dead,
I didn't know she was dead yet. We checked.
She said she was stiff, dude.
I didn't pick her up, but she didn't look stiff to me. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying to you.
You didn't see any blood?
Yes, I seen blood at the couch. At the couch when we got there.
And you thought, okay. So not only did you take your buddy home. Hold on. Not only did you take your buddy home, you didn't even come back forever. You're out riding around, dude. You're stopped up here talking to your ex-wife while your wife and your stepchild.
You don't understand the stress I've been in the last few weeks between my brand new wife that I love dearly and my ex-wife that's trying to control me with my other kid to my other. It's just, it's crazy. I can't, it's a bunch of stress on me. So I was going towards the house, and then she was talking about all this drug stuff, how she has all this stuff on me, and this and that, and I didn't know what to do. So I pulled over for a second.
It was a lot longer
5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know, sir. It was like 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
But I'm telling you the honest truth. Everything I've told you has been honest. That's all I can do.
What happened to her then?
I don't know.
Who does?
I don't know. If it isn't me, then it's two other people. I don't know. I'm telling you the truth.
So, well, I know it's not your wife, but she passed a lie detector.
And that's fine.
You, not even close to passing a lie detector.
I don't care what that machine says. I'm telling you the honest truth. I swear. I swear to you. I'm not lying to you. I'm honest. I'm not. Call anyone I know. I'm not an abusive person. I don't do stuff like this. I would never hurt a child.
Somebody did.
I understand that. But you guys are going to convict someone they didn't even do nothing. You know, that's crazy.
No, what's crazy is there's a dead little girl.
I understand that.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But you guys are trying to tell me that I did it when I didn't do it.
Dude, I'm just telling you.
The first interview is filled with uncertainty. Jordan insists he can only explain what he personally saw and did. The detectives, however, are trying to reconstruct something much bigger than his individual movements. They want to know who was in the house, who was awake, who saw Olivia last, and what happened before the emergency call was made. At this point, the investigators were still working through conflicting accounts, but Eva Millard was about to give them her own version of the night.
Video, okay, we're video recording, and we're just going to go through everything real nice and easy, and just get your side of what happened so we can try to figure this out, okay?
When can I see you?
Huh?
When can I see you?
I'm not sure. We can see though, okay? But let's concentrate on getting this real quick, okay?
Okay.
What time did you get up this morning?
You mean got up?
Mm-hmm.
Right before I seen her. Jordan had came in.
Yeah, did you get up before Jordan left?
We got up about 4 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And that was because Olivia was making noise or whatever, and I got up. And I picked her up and I put her in bed with me.
Okay.
She was laying with me, and of course I was tired. She was tired. He was tired. And she kept telling me, no. And
Telling you no?
yeah. And she just learned the words. She learned how to
I
talk.
got you.
And we're tired.
You what?
We're tired.
Right.
And Jordan told me to put her back in the bed. In her bed where she sleeps. And of course I got a little upset at him, and I was like, has she been sick? I should have put her back in. I should have just left her with me.
Okay, so that was about 4.
It was still dark outside, so I know it was either middle of the night or morning. I didn't look at the time, sir.
So you were asleep all night. You slept last night. You got up at 4.
We didn't sleep a lot last night.
Okay.
Because of course she was up. She had went to sleep, so we went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then she started making noise, and I got up.
Okay.
And I picked her up, and I put her in bed with me. Well, she was talking. Now, just blah, 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 because she can't really talk. So I put her back down, and I gave her a bottle, and her little head was on her pillow. And then I climbed back in bed, and I went to sleep. And Jordan kind of nudged me, woke me up, and told me he was going to go to Billy's. And I was okay.
Did you get up and smoke a cigarette or anything?
I did it in bed. I didn't get up out of bed.
The explanation given that morning was simple. Olivia had supposedly fallen. An accident. But the people who were inside the home did not remain available to investigators for long. The next morning, both Eva and Jordan were expected to return and discuss the autopsy. They never showed up. Instead, Jordan left Arkansas. Eva eventually went with him. And while the two were away, the medical examination changed the entire direction of the case. The death was ruled a homicide. The injuries were far more severe than a simple fall could explain, and toxicology showed that Olivia had drugs in her system. Now investigators had a dead 2-year-old, a story that did not match the medical evidence, and 2 people who had left the state. Months later, Jordan was located after investigators spotted a moving truck at his residence. Eva would not be arrested until later, but before that happened, detectives would bring her back in for another interview. This time, they had more than questions. They had the autopsy, they had the evidence, and they had a timeline that was becoming increasingly difficult to explain. When Eva returned for the later interview, the tone was different. This was no longer simply an attempt to gather an initial account of what happened. The investigators already knew what the medical examiner had concluded. They knew the death had been classified as a homicide, and they knew that the explanation of an accidental fall had become impossible to reconcile with the injuries. Before the questions began, however, Eva was reminded of her rights.
We just got to go over these again like we do every time we talk to anybody, okay? So
Just saying I don't need a lawyer for the other stuff.
Do what now? Well, let me just go over these, and I'm just telling you what your rights are, and you tell me yes or no whether or not you understand. That's all we're doing on this right
So I'm not waiving a lawyer or none of that.
Okay, you're not.
Huh? I got two charges. I can't afford to waive a lawyer.
Well, just let me read this to you. Okay? Okay. Do you understand that you have the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand that anything you say may be used against you in court? Do you understand that? Do you understand that you have the right to talk to an attorney before any question and have an attorney present with you during questioning? Do you understand that? Do you understand if you cannot afford to hire an attorney, won't be appointed by the court for you prior to any questioning at little or no cost to you? Do you understand that? Do you understand if you decide to answer questions now, you can decide to stop answering any time, and you can stop answering any time till you speak with an attorney? Keep signing right there. It's just saying you understand what your rights are, okay? Okay. This next part says, no promises or threats have been used against me to induce me to waive the rights listed above. With full knowledge of my rights, I hereby voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently waive them to answer questions. That's basically saying that I hadn't promised you anything and I hadn't threatened you to make you talk to me. If we talk for 10 minutes and you decide you don't want to talk anymore, that's your right. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Get you sign right there. Never seen anybody hold a pen like that.
It's because my hand's messed up.
What did you do to it?
I was drunk. Fell through a window.
What'd you do that for?
Actually, I had a friend that was going face first into an already broken window, and I decided my drunk ass was going to save his face and screwed myself up.
The interview begins with ordinary conversation. Jordan. Their relationship. What had happened while Eva was away? It sounds almost casual, but underneath that conversation is a much more serious issue. Eva and Jordan had remained connected after Olivia's death, and investigators were trying to understand not only what Eva knew about the night Olivia died, but what she had been told afterward.
So, have you been seeing Jordan while you were up there? Have y'all been still together? Pretty much.
Kinda, yeah. I can't remember exactly when he got back, but I was under the impression that we were still good until he got there, really. And that's when I found out about all the other stuff.
Like what stuff?
The girls, drugs, all that.
That he'd been doing after? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know nothing about that. I don't guess I knew anything about the girls and the drugs and stuff.
I didn't either. I didn't even know whenever I called.
Huh. Are y'all still living together? Okay.
But for that whole year until I called, I was in Michigan and he was here. I didn't come down at all.
Right. Okay.
I got a hawk.
Okay.
I had a son. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you know that?
You was pregnant at the time, right?
I had a miscarriage on the 26th.
Oh, okay. And so you've had one since then? I did not know that.
He's 11. He'll be 11 months old on the 10th. That's why I need to talk to my mom.
Okay, when was the last time you talked to her?
Before all this stuff.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid that I'm afraid to. That's why I wouldn't talk to that lady.
What lady?
The lady that arrested me.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Huh. So what questions do you have for me? What do you want to talk about?
I need my son here with my mom.
Does your mom have your son? Where's he at? In Michigan? Who has him? Jordan? Is it with Jordan's family? Okay. So,
The thing is I was planning on leaving and coming home to my mom.
yeah.
And then that's kind of what I was talking to that priest about.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know how to just leave. And my mom kept telling me just to come home, just to come home. And I was trying to make enough money to just come home.
Yeah.
And then I went to jail. And I want my son with my mom. So.
Okay. Well, is Jordan the father? Okay.
Who else would be the father? I'm not a cheater.
I don't know. I didn't know you had a son. I don't know what's going on.
Jeez.
Okay. So.
That's why I didn't tell you where I was at when I called. That's why I haven't talked to no one. Because I'm worried about my son.
Right.
And I want my son with my mom.
Okay.
My mom wants my son too, but we didn't. I was just going to come with my son, but I didn't know really how.
Okay.
But I'm afraid with this stuff now, because they're supposed to come and bail me out or whatever, and then.
For several minutes, Eva focuses on her infant son. She is worried about where he is. She wants him with her mother, and she is afraid of losing him. That concern becomes the emotional center of the room. But the detective knows something Eva does not yet appear ready to confront. The interview is not about the child she currently has with her. It is about the child she lost, and eventually, the conversation turns back to Olivia.
Bail me out or whatever, and then.
So Jordan and them were coming down to bail you out? Is that what you're saying?
Supposed to.
So that'd probably bring your son with them, right? Okay. Have you talked to him lately? Did you talk to him today? When was the last time you talked to Jordan?
Yesterday.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep that between us, but you won't leave. And when he gets down here with the baby, then you can just go with your mom, the baby. Does that sound fair?
Are you going to take him away?
No.
Because I've done everything right. I haven't used, the whole time I was pregnant, I didn't use, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I just don't.
What's his name?
Trip.
Trip?
I just don't want to lose him. I've already lost him.
Yeah, I know you have. I know you have, girl. Well, and this is the thing, and I'm going to let you read the autopsy if you want to read it, okay?
I want you to show me what you guys see, because I don't understand.
Well, so.
I put her to bed myself. And then I went to sleep, and in that morning, I thought she was asleep, so I just slept in. I didn't know she was gone.
Well, I'm 100% sure that his dad or his grandpa that was living with y'all?
His dad.
His dad. I'm 100% sure he didn't do it. After talking to him and before he passed away and everything, that's all the evidence that we have as far as what actually took place. But as far as Jordan doing it, I mean, if you didn't do it, who did it?
I still believed it was an accident.
100% not. And we've had this conversation. And I'm going to let you read what the autopsy says. And it absolutely says, without a shadow of a doubt, it was an accident. Okay? Absolutely it says that. I'm just being blunt with you on that. And I'm going to let you read it. I don't have no problem with that. Okay? So, with that being said, If you know for a fact that you didn't do it, that leaves one person. That leaves one person, you know? And so I know either Jordan has had to have said something.
To me?
Mm-hmm.
About killing her?
Mm-hmm.
He said nothing like that to me.
Or either you know something. I mean, during the time period that they're saying that the baby died, I mean, you and him were there.
What time?
It's like a 4 or 5 time period between like midnight and 4 or something like that. 5 maybe in the morning. Okay. But, you know, the thing is, it absolutely was not an accident. You know what?
She looked like there was nothing wrong.
There was.
To me.
Well,
Is there something I could sign my son to my mom?
The detective now begins applying pressure without immediately making a direct accusation. Eva still maintains that Olivia's death was an accident, but the detective tells her that the medical evidence does not support that conclusion. And then comes the central logic of the interview. If Eva did not hurt Olivia, and if investigators believe Jordan did not act alone, then someone inside that home knows what happened. The conversation shifts from grief to responsibility.
there's no way that Jordan has done all this, and I just can't see that. And you not know something. Okay? Does that make you a bad person? No. Because I think at the time you both, I know you and him both had a major pill problem.
I did.
I know. Absolutely you did.
But I don't anymore,
I know you don't. I know. And I'm just telling you that you have fixed yourself, you have changed, but at the same time we have to make what happened right. I mean, you agree with that. Okay?
I didn't do anything to her.
I'm not saying you did.
And if I'd have known you did, I would have told you. I don't know what kind of person that would make me not to tell you. And after he went to jail, I didn't see him. And every time I talked to him, he was sick and had to go lay down because he had other things to do. He didn't talk to me really. And whenever he came home, I was working at the store, and I'd been taking care of a little old dude, constantly working.
Yeah.
Because I found out all the stuff, and I had to throw myself into something else. I'm telling you, him and his mom don't talk to me about it, and whenever I do bring it up, it's shut down. And I tell you, I don't know. If I did, I'd tell you. I wish I did. It would make more sense in my head if I did.
So looking back at that night, what was your condition? What were you? I mean, I know y'all been taking pills, and I know you were taking pills that next day.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. That night, I was asleep. I slept most of the day, and I slept the night.
The day before.
Because I wasn't feeling good, and we went to the doctor, and then we got the prescription for. It was we got the Suboxone prescription, and I got the, it was some kind of steroid, something that the doctor prescribed.
Yeah.
But I was asleep. I didn't even wake up to do anything, pills or anything. I was asleep, and every time I would wake up, I'd go to the garage and smoke a cigarette and go right back to bed. And
well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know she was crying and she got up there with y'all.
I got her myself.
Right.
And I put her in bed with me, and Jordan, she was telling me no. And Jordan told me that if he needed to go into the other room, and I told him no. And then I laid her back down in the pack and play, and I went and filled up her bottle, came back, gave it to her, put her blanket on her, and kissed her on the forehead, and told her good night, I loved her, and then curled back in bed and went back to sleep.
The detective has now established something important. Eva says she did not hurt Olivia. She says she does not know who did, but her own account places her with Olivia during the night. She remembers the bottle, the blanket, the kiss goodnight, and then she says she went back to sleep. The question is no longer simply what Eva remembers. It is what happened after she went to sleep.
Every time I close my eyes, because I feel like it's my fault, because I laid her back down. I didn't leave her in bed with me.
Yeah.
So that goes over my head. It's like a video that plays.
Yeah.
But then I went back to sleep. And then in the morning she was gone. But I didn't know. I thought she was still asleep, so I went back to sleep.
And he hadn't said anything to you about any of this. Y'all haven't discussed it. You and him together, when y'all were alone, you're telling me this has not been discussed, period.
When I try to discuss it, he shuts it down. He doesn't want to talk about it.
And so what do you think about that in your mind? Do you think he's being honest?
I want to think he's being honest.
You know whether or not you did it.
I know I didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So you're telling me you didn't. So that leaves only him. You see what I'm saying?
I would be lying to you if I ever questioned.
Well, sure you. I understand that.
I question it every day. Even the phone call I made to you, that was me questioning. Because I want to know why. I'm thinking that if you guys can show me why you think it's him, maybe I'll see it from your guys' point of view, and then maybe it'll...
Well, our big deal is the way he acted that morning. Knowing that she was gone. And then he says...
He didn't know she was dead. He thought she was hurt.
Well, he told us he checked for her breathing and pulse, and there wasn't nothing.
He told me when it all happened, and I kept trying to tell him that there was something really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He put his hand on her chest like this, and told me to calm down because there was a pulse. And then whenever I picked her up and went through the hallway to the living room yelling at him to call 911, I laid her down on the couch on her back so I could go figure out what happened. And then I turned on my heel and I realized that my shoulder was wet. So that made me turn back around, and he was on the phone with 911 or whatever. And that's whenever I seen the blood on her lip. And then I screamed at him because I was further away from her than him to flip her over and hit her on the back because I thought maybe she was choking. And he flipped her over, but he was barely touching patting her back.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's when he hung up the phone with the ambulance people, so he could do what I told him to do. And then I pushed him out of the way and hit her harder on the back to get the stuff for whatever out of her throat.
Right.
And then he felt for a heartbeat again and told me there was a heartbeat. And I kept telling him there wasn't. And that's when I screamed for him to call 911 again, and he did. And then I was holding her, and he told me he had to take those people home. I told him that he probably shouldn't. He said, I have to take these people home, and he left. I took Olivia back into the bedroom, laid her on the bed on her back, trying to figure out where she was hurt, or definitely where she was bleeding. Mm-hmm. And that's when I looked in her little mouth, and that's whenever, when I was holding her while he was on the phone with 911 the second time, I went to do this to put her here, and I took my hand off of her neck, and then I noticed that her head kind of flopped, and I went to catch it, and that's whenever I felt the crack or a cracking feeling in my hand. Mm-hmm. And I yelled at him that I thought her neck was broken. And then that's whenever he was on the phone 911 and told him to come the second time, and then right after that he left. Then I took her back to the bedroom. I took her little onesie off of her, was looking for the whatever, and then I flipped her over onto her stomach so I could check her neck, and I put her little hair in like a ponytail with my hand, trying to feel around on her head to find it. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't. The only thing that I seen was the little bruise here and the little bruise here, and I couldn't figure out why she was bleeding. And I even tried to check her mouth, and that's when I noticed that her arm wouldn't come down.
Yeah.
And then I laid her on her side just in case. Mm-hmm. Just in case she was going to choke or whatever. I think that was just me hoping that she would. I laid her on her side, and I ran to find my phone so I could call 911 again, because it was taking them forever to me. I don't know why. But when I got a hold of 911, I talked to the lady for maybe 30 seconds, and then I seen the shoes in the door, and then that's when they came in.
Yeah.
But he did tell me she had a pulse twice. So, I don't know. He says he thought she was just hurt and was going to go to the hospital.
Well, he didn't feel a pulse, that's for sure.
I always thought he felt his own.
It might be. Could have. But when he took them home, he didn't even come right back. Well, it's just weird.
He did come right back.
No, he didn't. He went down the road and stopped and called his ex-wife and talked to her for 40 minutes.
He told me it's because the police was pushing him off the road.
That didn't make sense. Didn't say nothing to Pam about the whole deal. But he went down the road and talked to her for 40 minutes on the phone before he came home, knowing what you were going through. So see, the stuff like that absolutely points to him. Okay?
Eva's account now becomes much more detailed. She describes what she saw, what Jordan did, what he allegedly said, and the moments when she believed Olivia was still alive. But one detail begins to stand out. According to Eva, Jordan left the home after the emergency call, and instead of immediately returning, he stopped and spoke with his ex-wife. To investigators, that behavior raised questions. To Eva, it became one of the reasons she began looking at Jordan differently.
Is it gonna bother you if I wear a mask? Okay. So, we're talking about the autopsy. I'm gonna show it to you, okay? So, it's a big, long thing, and we can go through all of it, but usually and it explains, let me show you. So, it's Olivia Soto, okay? And it shows that they ruled it a homicide, okay? And then it explains like her, thank you. It explains like her external description, which is, I mean, we can go through and read it if you want to. Do you want to go through the whole thing? Okay. So it says, that's great. So let me make sure I turn this off.
Eva spends much of this section explaining decisions made after Olivia's death. The funeral, the cremation, the move to Michigan, the advice she says she received. But the detective is listening for something else, because each explanation creates another question. If Eva believed Jordan was innocent, why did she remain with him? If she believed he knew something, why did she leave the state with him? And if the lawyer supposedly knew Jordan was innocent, then who did Eva believe was responsible?
But what bothers us is the fact that you're still with him. You're still, for a funeral.
I didn't know about the funeral.
You knew there was a funeral.
I set up the funeral from where I was at. I was going to come back. I set it up at McDonald's. I want to say it was McDonald's out of Greenwood. I called him. We set it up. He had a chapel on the side of his, funeral home.
Mm-hmm.
And he was giving us everything. The casket, the only thing I was going to have to pay was $600. And he was going to let us have 2 different services in his little chapel for Jose's family and for my family.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't know what Jose wanted, I told that guy to call Jose, and I gave him Jose's number. And that guy called Jose because I wanted to make for sure Jose got a say in what went on that day. And Jose straight told that guy, we have everything under control. Eva's just not supposed to know about it. And that guy called us back and told me. So.
Did you call Jose and talk to him?
I did talk to Jose. Jose told me that the first time I talked to Jose, he told me he was going to cremate her. We had a fight about that, and I told him no. Well, then, that was before I set up the funeral. And then, I want to say we talked again, and he said something. He was going to go meet with someone about getting her body released or something. And I told him that's when I just got back. I just got to Michigan. And he said something about the funeral being, he wanted it on a Thursday, I believe. And then I called. I was under the impression he hadn't set anything up. So that's when I called and had everything set up. And the funeral is going to be on a Monday. But he told me something about a Thursday, but the funeral was a Saturday. So I was under the impression it was going to be on whichever day, but I had no idea about a Saturday. Because I called my mom and I told my mom that me and Jose were fighting over the cremation. And that we were going to bury her by my granny and papa in Waldron. Because my mom has,
Lots. Right, yeah.
because she has 12 kids. So she had a lot of them already paid for. Because that's the road that I grew up on. And I was going to bury her by my granny and papa. But Jose told that guy I wasn't supposed to know, that he had everything taken care of. And if you need that, I probably could call the guy.
Why did y'all go back to Michigan?
Because the lawyer said that that was the best thing to do.
What did you think about it?
I didn't want to go because my family's here. But I was under the impression that that was the best place for us to go. They paid him $100,000, so I thought he knew what he's talking about. And then when we came back, my main reason for coming back is because I did miss Olivia's funeral, and I still haven't seen her grave. But I was going to go that day and see her grave. But then Jordan got arrested, and the lawyer told us to get back to Michigan. And then I didn't come back at all because I was under the impression that I wasn't allowed to come back to Arkansas per the lawyer.
He's not your lawyer.
But he said that...
You know what I'm saying?
I know, but I don't know if any of this really happened. I'm just telling you what I was told. I was told, mind you, I'm really scared about Tripp, so I don't really like to bring his name up, but I was pregnant with him. And I had insurance and everything in Michigan. But at first it was, I couldn't come back and live with Jordan because I was pregnant with Tripp and I had Michigan Medicaid or whatever. And my doctor was in Michigan. I tried to argue the point that I could have got Medicaid like that in Arkansas. I've always had it there. But then it went to the lawyer. The lawyer says it's not a good idea because they picked up Jordan.
He's got one concern, and that's Jordan. That's not you.
So my mom keeps saying.
You know what I'm saying? And that lawyer knows. He knows the truth. Jordan knows the truth.
They told me the lawyer knows Jordan didn't do it.
So that leaves you. Did you do it?
There's no way in hell.
There's two people in that room. You and Jordan.
Can I smoke again?
The interview now enters its most important phase. The detective is about to show Eva the autopsy report. Not summarize it. Not simply tell her that Olivia died from severe injuries. Show her, line by line. And as the report is read aloud, the accident explanation will be tested against the medical findings.
It says the body was that of a well-developed and well-nourished white female toddler. At the time of initial examination, the body was nude. A disposable diaper was present under the body. Paper bags were present on the hands. The body weighed 24 pounds, measured...
Paper bags? I didn't put paper bags.
We do. We bag our hands. Okay? In case there's any kind of...
And I was thinking, I know I put a diaper on her. Sorry.
No, we bag hands. So... It says the body weighed 24 pounds, measured 33 inches in length, and appeared consistent with the stated age of 2 years. Body temperature was cold. Rigor mortis was fully and uniformly developed in the extremities. And there's going to be a lot of things that you don't understand in here.
Rigor mortis wasn't said only in her arm.
When it got to the ME, baby.
Okay.
Faint, fixed, purple-red lividity was present on the posterior body surfaces except in areas exposed to pressure. The scalp was covered by brown-black hair measuring up to 10 inches in maximum length. Injuries involving the scalp will be described below. The irides were brown and cornea were clear. The conjunctive and scleria showed no petechial hemorrhages or other significant changes.
What's that mean?
So petechia is like if she was like physically choked. You have blood vessels in your eye, and I've seen people that have had petechia in their chest, like if there's Like the person that I saw had choked to death, and there was a whole lot of pressure there. Like if you're choking, like somebody's strangling somebody, a lot of times the blood vessels in their eyes will pop, and that's called petechia.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to have a lot of questions. I don't
And we may
understand.
have to, that's fine, because some of this I may not understand because I'm not a forensic doctor. When we get to the very back page, it's like, I call it the page for dummies.
Oh, okay.
So it explains everything in layman terms, like where we can understand it, okay? So if you have questions about something, if I can't answer it in here, it'll answer it back here where we can't understand it, okay? It says, injuries involving the external ears will be described below. The nasal passages and mouth contain minimal amounts of mucus sanguineous fluid. The teeth were normally erupted for age and appeared unremarkable. Inner surfaces of the lips were without evidence of energy. The frenulum of the upper lip was intact. I think that's that thing right there. You know what I'm talking about? Let me find where I was. Superficial injury involving the anterior neck will be described below. The chest was normally developed and generally symmetric. Superficial injuries on the upper anterior right chest will be described below. The abdomen was flat and showed no external evidence of antemortem injury. The external genitalia were those of a normally developed female child and showed no evidence of injury or abnormality. The lower extremities were normally developed and generally symmetric. Superficial injuries located on and around the anterior knees will be described below. The lower extremities were otherwise without evidence of old or recent injury. The ankles and feet were unremarkable, which means there just wasn't anything. They were normal. The upper extremities were normally developed and generally symmetric. Superficial injuries involving the right upper arm and both elbows will be described below. The upper extremities were otherwise without evidence of injury. Examination of the hands did not reveal any evidence of acute antemortem injury. The nails were relatively short and intact. Examination of the posterior body surfaces revealed a single superficial injury on the left lower back. The back and buttocks were otherwise without external evidence of antemortem injury. The anus was without evidence of injury or abnormality. So it says ECG pads, evidence of medical attention. So this is what they saw when they got her, okay? Because we don't mess with the body other than just like bagging hands or something like that. We
Can I
send
ask you
it
a question? Would I have done any of this stuff to her when I tried to do CPU?
No, probably not.
I didn't know what I was doing.
That's fine. No. Probably not. Okay. ECG pads were present on the upper anterior right chest and lower anterior left chest. Evidence of old injury, none present. Evidence of recent injury. Okay? And like I said, there's going to be things we probably don't understand in this, but they describe it back here to people like me, okay? That aren't doctors.
Like me.
Yeah. A wide confluent contusion involved much of the lateral right parietal and temporal scalp. This contusion, a contusion is like a bruise, extended to involve skin surfaces immediately posterior to the external ear. Overall, it involved an area measuring 4 by 3.5 inches in greatest dimensions. Skin surfaces with the contused area did not show any abrasions, lacerations, or additional injuries. Near confluent contusion hemorrhage also involved the upper half of the posterior right external ear. On the outer surface of the right external ear, a 1/2 inch diameter purple blue contusion involved the scapha. Scattered over skin surfaces of the helix, tragus, and other parts of the external ear.
Go to the dummies.
Okay. I don't even understand those words. I'm sorry. No, you're fine. So this goes through and just explains all of the systems and stuff like that, okay? And I'm going to hold this because we may go back to that. Okay, this is what was in her system, okay?
The report is no longer describing an unexplained injury. It is describing a pattern. Multiple injuries. Severe trauma to the head. Additional injuries across the body. And toxicology findings that raise another question. How did oxycodone and a benzodiazepine end up in the system of a 2-year-old? The detective continues reading. And the next section will directly challenge the idea that Olivia was injured once in a simple accident.
It's in a fungal infection of the lungs. It was a microscopic finding, but it did not contribute to any part of the death, is what he says in here. Microscopic examination of the tissues from the brain confirmed the presence of acute injuries. Microscopic examination of tissues from the brain confirmed the presence of acute, I think I read that twice. Microscopic examination of the bruises showed hemorrhage, and in some samples an acute inflammatory response was observed. Toxicology testing, this is where they're talking about what was in her blood, okay, did not reveal any ethanol, which is alcohol, in the blood. A trace amount of acetone was present, possibly indicating mild ketosis at the time of death. A drug screen was positive for benzodiazepines and oxycodone. Additional testing showed diazepam in her blood at an elevated but non-toxic level. It is a metabolite. Nordiazepam was also present. Diazepam is a drug in the benzo family and is a sedative. The presence of oxycodone narcotic was confirmed. It was present at a non-toxic level. The testing also showed a low level of acetaminophen. The presence of acetaminophen and oxycodone suggests a combination drug such as Roxyset may have been administered. Okay?
I know I gave her Tylenol that day.
Okay, I don't think you gave her oxycodone.
I gave her Tylenol because she wasn't feeling good.
Okay, that's not oxycodone. Okay? Tylenol's not oxys or that combination, all right? Now, this is where you need to listen really good, all right? The pattern of head injuries indicate they were produced by crushing type force as opposed to a direct blow or multiple blows. The number and extent of fractures caused collapse of the cranium with direct crushing of the brain. This type of injury is extremely devastating and would have caused immediate loss of consciousness and death within a very short time. This time frame is supported by the relatively small amounts of subdural and subarachnoid hemorrhage, as well as absence of the cerebral edema. As noted above, when tissue samples from the bruises on the body surface were examined microscopically, some showed the presence of an acute inflammatory response. Such a response generally takes hours to develop. Based on these findings, so what they're saying is there are bruises that it would have took hours to be like they were. So what they're going to say right here is based on these...
That's why I only seen two.
Huh? What?
So that's why I only seen the 1 year and 1 year.
No, listen what I'm fixing to say, okay? It says, based on these findings, so I'm going to go back and read this, all right? It says, as noted above, when tissue samples from the bruises on the body were examined microscopically, some showed the presence of acute inflammatory response. So what they're saying is they found that, and that takes hours to develop, and it has to develop while she's alive. Okay? So based on these findings, it is most likely that the injuries observed at autopsy were due to at least 2 applications of force at different times. So what they think it happened, it says this is also supported by the presence of drugs in her system. So they think that she was hurt, she was injured one time, and she was probably crying and upset, so the drugs were administered, and then that didn't make her stop, so the crushing of the brain happened next. It says, this is also supported by the presence of drugs in her system. These medications were likely administered in order to sedate her and treat pain after the initial injuries were sustained. Along with the number, distribution, and severity of the injuries, the evidence of multiple assaults is inconsistent with any reasonable accidental scenario, including a fall. So they're saying this didn't happen from a fall. There were at least 2 different incidents, and in between, there were narcotics given to her to try to make it go away.
So all in the same day, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, but I was asleep the whole day because I wasn't feeling good too.
Didn't you get up at 4 because she woke up?
I slept most of the day before because I wasn't feeling good.
but she wasn't feeling good either. And a couple of times I woke up during the day. There was one time that I woke up and...
The medical examiner's conclusion creates a new timeline. According to the report, the injuries were not necessarily caused at one single moment. The evidence suggested separate applications of force. And the toxicology findings raised the possibility that medication had been given between those injuries. The detectives now had a theory of what may have happened. But a theory is not the same as proof. And the question remained, who was present when those injuries occurred?
Listen, Sammy, I'm going to ask you something. I don't want you to get offended by it, okay? Because I feel like I need to ask this, all right? You remember I talked to you before. Do you remember that? Okay. I'm a mama, all right? And I talked to you then. You know, there's like some cases in our career that we work and they just stick with you because you want to know the answers, and this is one of those, okay? And I think I told you when I talked to you last time that, you know, a mom's job is to protect her baby. But I also know, as a mom, that we can get severely frustrated. And I'm telling you, I've got 2 kids. I've been there, okay? And I don't think I ever asked you then, and I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I feel like I owe this to you. Did you have any type of like postpartum depression or anything like that? I'm
with her?
Yeah. None at all. Never had any type of depression or anything like that. Because I know, like, when I had my kid, my first one, I was 21 years old. All right.
I remember.
And
you were telling me that sometimes your kids would frustrate you on top of the stairs and just cry.
Yeah, I would. And it's so frustrating. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, you know, like I mean, I had to get away because I had those feelings. And Olivia, though, she never made me angry. She was my bestest friend. With Peyton, I didn't have a real relationship with her because I was in and out of jail. I went to prison. But with Olivia, she was my bestest friend. Somebody did that to your little girl. This is your baby. Do you see those bruises? Somebody crushed her skull into her brain. Eva, somebody crushed her skull into her brain.
I wasn't there when I seen her.
That's what they're talking about in this autopsy report, the bruises. Did you do this? Did you accidentally hurt her?
No.
When you read the autopsy, even her tongue has bruising because she bit her tongue when this happened. This isn't a fall off of something, sis. And this stuff don't go away. I watched a thing today. This guy, he was 70-something years old, and he killed people in like the 50s or 60s, and they just arrested him. This stuff doesn't go away. I just want answers for her. She deserves that.
The interrogation changes completely. Until this point, the detective had been explaining evidence. Now she is speaking to Eva as another mother. The emotional distance disappears. The detective reminds her that Olivia was not simply a name in a report. She was a child, a daughter, and someone had inflicted injuries the medical examiner said could not be explained by an accidental fall. Eva begins to break down, but the detective is not finished.
You said it happened twice?
And that's what the ME thinks, that there were two different incidents. That there was the first incident that caused bruising because it was older, and then they gave her drugs trying to probably get her to be quiet because it hurt her, and then the next one crushed her skull.
Why was she just fine in the bed with me then?
She wasn't just fine.
Because I let him take care of her, it's all my... So the other one had to happen the day before too, right?
Not necessarily the day before. It says in here that what it's talking about with the tissues is it says that it takes them at least 2 hours. I think is what. Let me find it back here. It takes hours to develop. So it says, as noted above, when tissue samples from the bruises on the body surface were examined microscopically, some showed the presence of acute inflammatory response. Such a response generally takes hours to develop. Based on these findings, it is most likely that the injuries observed were due to at least 2 applications of force at different times. So the way they're describing it is, one application of force happened, which made the bruises, and then the Roxyset or medicine very similar to Roxyset was given, which is the oxycodone. I think it has, what did I say, benzos and oxy, and then I guess probably to make her.
I gave her Tylenol myself.
But that's not the same.
But I gave her Tylenol myself.
But that's not the same.
Because Jordan told me she was throwing up. So I gave her Tylenol myself.
But when did Jordan tell you she was throwing up?
Eva continues to insist she would never have hurt Olivia. She describes her as her best friend. She says there was no reason anyone should have harmed her. But the detective now confronts the contradiction at the center of the entire case. Eva says she did not do it. She says Jordan did. But she had remained with Jordan, and she had never directly asked him the question investigators wanted answered.
Would you have left?
I would never left her, and I would have never let nobody hurt her.
You're living with somebody that did.
Never let him hurt her.
I don't think you would have let him.
I would have told you if he did, if I knew it.
Well, either he did it or you did it.
There's no way in the world I would hurt her. He was my best friend.
She's beautiful. And she's innocent. There's no reason this should have happened to her.
This is why why he never wanted me to see no autopsy report.
I told you when I met you, no reason to lie to you. I'll tell you, I've had my doubts about you, and I'll explain it, because in my mind, I can't imagine you staying with him.
I didn't know.
Did you just think we were lying to you? I mean, we told you.
I did.
I have no reason to lie to you. None.
Can I talk to my mom?
I don't know. Have you talked to your mom lately?
There is one question Eva says she never asked Jordan. Did you kill Olivia? She says that at first, she did not believe he had. Later, after learning more about his behavior and his relationships, she says she became afraid of the answer. That fear is important, because investigators were no longer asking Eva only what she remembered. They were asking what she suspected, and whether she had known more than she was willing to admit.
What has he told you about that night? Have you ever asked him, did you kill her? Why not?
I didn't think he did. And then after a while, when I found out all this stuff about the girls and all of that, I was just afraid.
About the girls. I guess I missed that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Me and Jordan wasn't together the whole time. After he got out of jail down here and he was banned to the state, he had Arkansas. He had 2 other women. I didn't know none of that until a couple of months ago. And I've been talking to my mom. I told my mom about the girls and the drugs, all of that.
Looks like you're clean.
I'm clean. The 15th of November. My mom swears he killed her.
Look at me. If you didn't accidentally kill her, then he absolutely killed her. This is just total opinion on my part. But I feel like somebody stepped on her head. And that's just my personal opinion. That is not anything in here. That is just from looking at it and seeing it, it looks like they stomped on her head.
The detective now offers her own interpretation of the injuries. She makes clear that this is her personal opinion, not a formal medical conclusion. But the image she describes is devastating. And for Eva, it appears to become another piece of evidence pointing toward Jordan. The detective then returns to the decision that has troubled investigators from the beginning. Why did Jordan leave? Why did he speak with his former partner? And why did he leave Eva alone with an unresponsive child?
His reaction with everything was wrong. I mean, we came to do a search warrant on the house and y'all go for a stroll around the neighborhood? That's weird.
Because he had to get away from it.
you call 911 and your baby's unresponsive and he leaves and goes and talks to his ex-wife or girlfriend or whatever she was. That's not normal.
He said that was because me and Pam don't get along. She's right, we don't get along. Said he had to talk to her away from me.
While your baby is unresponsive? I think there's more important things right then than talking to his ex-wife or girlfriend.
He said that's because you guys were driving so fast you about pushed him off the road.
He left you with an unresponsive baby at the house.
He said that's because he had the drug dealer in the car.
Pardon my French, but at that point, who gives a fuck? Do you get what I'm saying? That is a baby. Look at her. That is a beautiful baby. A beautiful, perfectly innocent baby. Nobody cares about a drug dealer.
He said it was because he thought she was alive and we didn't need that drama too. Because I asked him why he left you.
He knew she wasn't alive. You realize somebody gave her oxycodone and benzo to try to get her to be quiet because she had already been hurt once.
Can I talk to my mom?
I'm sure you probably can.
I really need to talk to my mom.
Okay.
By now, Eva appears emotionally exhausted. She has been shown the autopsy. She has been confronted with the timeline. She has been told that the injuries were not consistent with a fall, and now the detective has returned to the drugs found in Olivia's system. The interview is approaching its breaking point. The detective now shows Eva the image of Olivia's skull. This is not a verbal description anymore. It is visual evidence, the kind of evidence that makes the distance between an accident and an intentional act impossible to ignore.
Look how broke it is. It's not from a fall.
She killed my daughter, didn't he?
If you didn't, he did.
What do I do now?
I'd like for you to tell me everything that he's ever told you about this. Anything that you could remember, even if you think it's insignificant, about that time period, that may be helpful. It may be the thing that we can put together. Do you get what I'm saying?
Eva has now heard the medical findings. She has seen the damage. She has been told that the injuries were not consistent with a fall. And the detective asks her for anything Jordan may have ever said. Anything, even something that might seem insignificant. But there is another concern in the room. Eva has a young son, and according to the interview, that child is connected to Jordan's family. The detective reminds Eva that the investigation is not only about what happened to Olivia. There is another child whose safety matters.
Mom? Yes? Mom, what are you doing? Watching TV. Mom, Mom, I need you to come to Van Buren, please. Come to Van Buren? Mom, he killed her, Mom. Oh my God. I need you to come to Van Buren, please. Will they let me come up there? Mom, he killed up there. Eva, ask Sergeant Perry.
After the interrogation, the case moved into the court system. Jordan Shreeve was charged with first-degree murder. Eva Millard faced charges connected to permitting child abuse and endangering the welfare of a minor. In 2021, Jordan went to trial. Eva testified against him. She told jurors that she had come to believe Jordan was responsible for Olivia's death, but the defense argued that the evidence did not prove who had inflicted the fatal injuries. The jury deliberated for roughly 2 hours. Then came the verdict. Jordan Shreeve was found not guilty of murder. The result left the central question unanswered. Who killed Olivia? Eva later pleaded guilty to the charges against her. She received a suspended sentence and probation. But her legal situation later changed after allegations that she had violated the conditions of her probation. And despite everything investigators uncovered, despite the autopsy, the toxicology, the competing timelines, and the interrogation that placed the people inside the home under intense scrutiny, no one was convicted of killing 2-year-old Olivia. The case remains a painful example of how a crime can leave behind evidence without leaving behind a verdict. There are the medical findings, there are the statements, there are the inconsistencies, there are the people who were present. And then there is the question that has remained at the center of the case. Who delivered the fatal injuries? The answer has never been established in court. So after watching the interrogation, after hearing Eva's account, and after considering the evidence presented in the case, who do you believe was responsible for Olivia's death?